Welcome to another episode of Boundaries. We all have boundaries. Some of us even set up fences. How about you? God's boundaries for our lives are meant to give us direction for our purpose. They keep us on His path, the path we were created to follow.
Today's episode is called Faith or Fear. We've all been there as a tornado is approaching, a hurricane approaching, there's an escaped convict loose in your neighborhood. That creates fear, but we also have faith that God will protect us. Today's scripture is Mark 11:22 through 24. So Jesus answered and said to them, "Have faith in God. For assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, 'Be removed and be cast into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says. Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you will have them." There is always an element of common sense that should interact with fear. A huge tornado is coming. Prepare for it. That is not lack of faith, but common sense. Leave the area. Do whatever you have to do to get through this situation and survive. But God is telling us to stand firm in the faith, even if we have to run. Believe that He will take care of us. If anything, faith teaches us this: God will give us the desires of our heart if we just have faith in Him. He is telling us that He will protect us, especially when we have no way out. I am reminded of the story of David and Goliath. David had no possible way, on his own, to defeat the giant. Yet God showed him 5 smooth stones. One of those stones killed Goliath. David did not have to fight the giant. He could have stayed in the hills with his sheep. But he had faith, undeniable faith, that God would see him through. Without David's faith, Israel would have fallen. Even the spiritual Jesus in heaven protects us. When Peter saw Jesus walking on the water, he wanted to do it too. Peter did get out of the boat. He did walk on the water for a bit, but then began to sink. Of course, Jesus reached down and pulled him back into the boat, but also rebuked him with "You of little faith." Mark 5:27 through 34 tells us the story of the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment, for she said, "If only I may touch his clothes, I shall be made well." Immediately the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd and said, "Who touched my clothes?" But his disciples said to him, "You see the multitude thronging you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see her who had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed in your affliction." Faith is our response to God's promises, to His character of truth. It can give us the power and courage to overcome fear, to actually live a life of trust in Jesus. Fear is a natural human response. and very difficult to overcome. But the Bible often emphasizes the importance of faith and encourages believers to trust in God's strength and guidance, even in the face of fear. Being strong, grounded in your trust in God, your faith in Jesus is the road to controlling your fear. It is about choosing to do or say something when led by the Spirit, even when emotions suggest otherwise. The Bible is full of stories that demonstrate faith. David, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego all show tremendous faith turned into courage and resilience in the face of adversity. Living by faith means trusting in God's love, power, and plan, even when we don't understand the outcome. Faith doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring fear, but rather choosing to trust in God's strength and guidance, even when we are afraid. Truth is that sometimes God allows our faith to be tested. He wants us to have the faith to put our trust in Him. He wants us to learn to overcome and conquer our fears. We cannot do that without Him. In the simplest terms, faith is the absence of fear. It's conscious choice to trust in God's promises and guidance, even when faced with uncertainty or fear. Jesus wants what's best for our life. First and foremost, He wants us to be with Him for eternity. Jesus knows we have a choice. We will always need to choose between, well, faith or fear.